All right, you are welcome to Vicky Digitalz CBT. So it's purely a land-based CBT examination system. So, and of course, what you're doing is going to be offline. It's very smart, secured, and as well, of course, is simply a complete computer-based testing solution for schools and also based for the CBT centers. So this is one of the uh, land CBT system that is best for schools. Okay, perhaps be it the primary school or the secondary school or whatever kinds of institution you are currently running. You just want students to actually take exams. Okay, so of course the good news is that you don't even need any form of internet connection. And as well, this particular land-based CBT support both theory and as well an objective assessment. Is that okay? Now, which simply means you can actually set theory question with this particular land CBT software. And of course, it is smart, reliable, and very much easier to actually use. So, all right, what are those key features you are going to actually have an access to? So, what are those key features in this particular LAMP CBT? Of course, first, you know that is an offline LAMP CBT. Of course, you don't need an internet connection, and of course, you have an access to be able to set both an objective and as well the theory assessment. You have three interfaces. Okay, so like we have the admin interface, the staff interface, and as well the student interface, which is their dashboard respectively. So these are those things I'm going to be showing you. So I'm going to show you all those things, right? Then of course it has an automation in form of marking, and as well it generates instant results. Then of course it has an control exam terminal and a timer and as well session control. Then you have the student attendance and as well the report sheet. Is that okay now? So this particular land CPT of course actually offers you a complete future as far as report generation is actually concerned. Let's say you want to generate a timely result, you can as well generate it in this particular software. It gives you an access to a full future of that. So talking about imputing the student attendance, like actually imputing teachers comment or principal comment or filling out psychomotors, you have a lot of these embedded in this particular LAN CBT, and all this is actually taking place offline. You don't need an internet connection. That's the good side of it. And as well, you can have an access to how you can manage your classes and as well the subject. There's a subject allocation to teachers, so you can actually manage this. For example, from the admin dashboard, which is one of the interface I've mentioned earlier on. Of course, you have a sequence of the login and as well the examination monitoring. Of course, this particular LAN CBT is actually designed for fast, secure, and stress-free school examinations. Now, let's just dive in straight to the live demo of this particular CBT, and we're going to actually what proceed. So, all right, just like I said, it has three interfaces. So this first one is the admin interface. So of course, then we can also have the student interface and the staff interface. But I'm just going to take us through the admin interface first. Is that okay now? So now, of course, we've entered our authentication details. So all you need to do is just to click on login. Now thereafter, of course, you are being launched inside the admin dashboard. You can see, of course, it's been loaded with a lot of features. So you can see different tabs you are going to be working with as an admin. So I'm just going to rush through all these tabs and actually tell you their functions. Of course, we're going to actually consider the results tab, which is the last. Of course, you want, whenever a student actually take an exam, the most important thing is that you want their result being generated. That's the most interesting aspect of this particular land CBT, right? So now I'm still going to talk about that later. So now the first tab here is the student dashboard, right? I mean student tab, whereby you can have an access to add student. For instance, if you click on this particular button, you can actually add student, then impute a particular name, right? So I'm not going to actually be adding student here. I'm just actually showing you roughly around the various features you have an access to. You can have, then you can also add a class. Okay, let's say the class is not listed in this particular software you have an access to, you can add your own customized class. Is that okay now? So that's what this part, that's all what you can actually do under the student dashboard. You can see the student actually render based on the classes. So let me just pick a particular tab in which you have a student. Now you can see the cool thing here is that of course you have the picture of such student, you understand, being actually displayed, okay, under the student tab. So this simply means whenever you are trying to register a student, of course, you have a particular interface whereby you can actually upload the pictures, okay, of this particular students. Let's say their passport. Is that okay now? So let's say for instance I actually want to let me just show you quick. So let's say I want to update this particular student. You can see the passport is being actually displayed here, and you can change the passport if you like. Is the time if you want to actually change the passport, and just click on what, on choose file. This is actually needed whenever you want to generate results, in which I'm going to be showing you lastly in this particular video. So now, all right, so that's it as for uh the student tab. We also have the staff tab. So this staff tab, of course, this is where you actually manage your staffs, okay, in your school. You manage your staff. So if you want to actually add a staff, simply click on this particular button and you're good to go. You can see, so you can input the necessary fields and you're good to go. Then if you actually want to add subject, now this subject now is class based, right? Let's say in the secondary school setting, we have some certain subject that is only offered by the junior sections. So let's say junior secondary school, right? So let's say for instance, if you're having senior secondary school subject like chemistry, of course you don't expect that chemistry should be offered by what, by the junior classes, only meant for the senior classes. So you can actually do that. So let's say for instance you want to actually add, I'm not adding anything here, I'm just actually showing you. Let's say you want to add any subject, you just type it here. And as well, so let's say the subject you actually type here, so let's say test subject for instance, and is actually being offered, okay, by the senior classes. Can just click, you check this particular box, okay, and thereafter you just click on what, on add subject. So immediately the subject is going to be added. Is that okay now? So I'm just showing you way around this, so I'm not going to actually add this particular subject. So just to show you how it is being done, then of course that's it as for the staff board, dashboard, or staff tab rather. So you can actually update the staff, okay, the given staff. Let's say you want to actually update their subject allocations, you can actually correct that here in this particular update button. And if you choose to actually delete them, maybe they are not more working with you, you can actually what, delete such file, I mean such staff from the CBT system. Okay, so the next tab is the assessment tab. Okay, this assessment tab is more like the major thing in this particular CBT. Okay, more like the heart of this particular CBT software, right? So because this is the primary objective of anybody actually what's subscribing for any kind of land CBT, because you want students to be able to take assessment. And this assessment, let me just actually, I'm going to be brief because I don't want this particular video to be too long. So now this, the assessment, you can actually take three type of assessment. You can have the let's say the first CA, you want the student to take the first CA, they can take it. You want the student to take the second CA, and as well you want them to take an examination, they can actually do that in this particular tab. Now I'm just going to select, you can see a lot of button there, which is very easy, very user friendly. So I'm just going to, currently we are under the manage assessment. So let's say for instance, let me just select a particular class in which I'm having a particular assessment, current assessment. You can see for this particular class selected, now you can see a lot of assessments here. So now if you can just see quickly on this particular screen, you can see a category column. I can have test 2, test 1, and of course exam for this particular subject. Take note of the subject that's we are dealing with. You can see we're having four different subjects. We're having English, mathematics, then geography, then digital tech, just for an example, right? So that's just it. Then if you want to actually want this particular examination, any of this examination to be visible on the student dashboard, okay, you just need to click on the start button, and thereafter of course it's going to be visible to them. You can see now this particular examination is active. Now how do you know that this particular first examination is active? So all what you need to do is just to come to this view active assessment. So once you actually click on that particular view active assessment, you can see what you have an access to. So you can see this particular exam that I've started. And if you like, you can actually what end such an assessment, right? You click on what end assessment, then you click on OK. You can see now there's no any form of active assessment. Okay, so all right, so that's what you're going to, that's it about this particular tab. You can have a lot of functionality. Now the next thing I want to talk about is set question. Let's say you want to actually set some questions, okay, as regarding this first exam, or let's say more like test two. Now it's not really exam, of course. You can see the category. The first the first item I'm having here is test two. Okay, then the next one is test one, that is, it represents second CA and first CA respectively, then the exam. So let's say I want to update this particular, or I want to set question. So this is what I'm talking about. So now look at the question type of this particular assessment, right? So now you can see the question type is theory. So you can just actually click on set questions, and let's see what is going to happen. It's going to take you to an interface, okay, more like the question editor interface, whereby you can actually set your theory question. So this, I'm just going to show you quickly how it's actually look like, so that you're going to really see the full future of this particular CBT, right? So now this is how it actually look like. So for instance, okay, I'm just having two existing questions, as you can see, right? So if you like, so you can add more questions. So the idea is that just type in the question number. Let's say this one is question one, question two has already been typed. So if you actually want to add more question, just click on what add new question. Of course, that's automatically number three. Then you can actually the next column has to do with the mark allocation. So let's say you want this particular mark of these questions to be 10. You just impute it according to your own discretion. Is that okay? Now remember, this is purely theory question template. Okay, and once you are done, you just remember to always be saving, okay, and you're good to go. So then I want to show you another assessment type, because I told you basically you can have two major types of assessment. So uh assessment type rather, so you can have like the objective as well, because I told you that the CBT software actually support both objective and theory. So you can actually set up a particular assessment based on each of this particular assessment type, like the theory, objective. You can also have a combination of both, that is both the objective and as well the theory. So now the next assessment type, now if you are to look at it, we are working with this particular column. As you can see, this particular assessment now is what is objective based, right? So let's just click on that set question. You can see this is an interface for the objective, as you can see, right? So you just input your question here, then you type in what your various options, and make sure you tick the correct option, and don't always forget to save. After that, you click on the save button you are seeing here, and you can add as many questions as possible. So that's just it. So then for the last one, you can actually have a situation whereby you set up an assessment that, okay, you want those assessments to be both objective and theory. So this is where you actually have an access to such, right? So an example is this third role we're having here in this particular table. You can just click on set exam as well. You can see this an interface. You can see you're having two tabs, a tab for objective and a tab for theory. Is that okay now? So when you click on the tab for theory, just notice what happened for the tab of course you are familiar with the theory interface, okay, so more like what I've shown you, right? So then the other one is the objective. So a combination of both, you can actually set an assessment based on that. So you also have an opportunity to actually import questions, like you can import both the objective question and as well all you need to do, just enter the number of questions, okay, and as well the exam you want to import from, and it's going to actually import successfully. Is that okay now? So that's just it as regarding the assessment. Then the last, this archive, right? So you want to actually let's say temporarily delete this particular assessment you're having, so you can just click on archive, right? So it's going to confirm, it's going to ask you to, are you sure you want to actually remove this particular examination, and you said sure. Okay, so now what you need to do is that if you want to recover that particular examination back, so just click on restore. Once you click on restore, then you click on restore exam. So you can see exam has been successfully restored. and you're going to have an access back to that particular exam under this particular class. Okay, so that's just it as regarding the assessment tab. Then now, since this particular software actually would support theory question, you may be asking that, okay, how will the theory question be marked, right? So it's going to be done, of course, manually by the staffs, right? So now what you need to actually do, of course, staff is going to have an access to an interface whereby they can actually mark their theory, and that's going to take us to this particular point, which is known which is named theory marking tab, right? So theory marking, so you can see, so any kind of assessment that is being done so far, that the assessment involves theory, okay, or both. What I mean by both is that at least both objective and theory, but the main point of focus here now is that we are marking any theory based assessment, right? So you can see this particular column. So now, though all this assessment has been marked, right? So let me just use one as an example. So let's say this first assessment, you just click on open, right? So now you can see a list of students that actually was uh, partake in that particular assessment. You can see a list of students that actually submitted. You can see, so now you can see the status either marked, or you can see the status now. Everything is marked because I've already marked the script before, right? So if it is just a fresh assessment, you see something like pending in your own case, right? So then after that, you actually click on open script. Is that okay now? So let's say I want to mark Andrew Kellogg now. So you just click on the corresponding open script for that particular student. So then after that, you have an access to the answers in which those students are actually write down during their assessment. So let's say, for instance, this particular student's answer now is maybe testing proposition again, so more like just testing around, just to show you that it actually really works. So after reading through the answer of that particular student, you can see student answer, you just fix in the score, okay, based on what that particular student actually wrote. Then you now click on save score, and once you save score, of course, everything is going to be calculated automatically, as you can see, maybe the total score and as well the total marks is, and so on, the percentage is okay. Now you're going to repeat the same thing for all other students, and as you are imputing your score, of course, the is reflecting in their result automatically. All what you need to do here, okay, you don't have to stress yourself, just open the script of that particular student, then based on the answer he or she actually provides, just enter the mark, okay, in which that particular student actually would get. So, and you're good to go. Then just save it. Now it is left for the system now to actually generate the result for you, carry out the computation. You don't need to actually carry out any form of computation. All this is being done by the system all by itself, right? So that's just it as regarding the theory marking. Then the managed resources is nothing more like the classes. You can actually delete and edit classes. Subject, you can actually delete this, so you can delete and edit subject. And exam titles too, you can actually delete as well, and actually edit them. Then the logo, this is more like a one of the customizable feature, okay, of this particular CBT. Like your school logo will be here, right? You want it customized, right? So if you want to update it, you can update it in this particular tab. I don't want to go through it because I don't want this video is actually getting longer. So now, so speaking about the result generation, before you actually, I'm going to talk about that last, just like I've said. So now the next one is just the comments tab. Comment tab, all this, the comment tab, psychomotor, then attendance and time setting, these are those things that's going to reflect in the result of the student generated. Now, starting from the comments, there's no big deal here. At least the teacher can actually pass comment. Is that okay? Now, and as well, the principal can as well pass its own comment as well. So then, of course, for instance, if you want to actually pass the comment, just follow through the instruction, select a particular class, then select a particular assessment, okay, assessment title, then of course the student in which you want to pass this particular comment to. So let's say I'm choosing this particular student. You can see the existing particular comment as regarding this particular student. So then thereafter you can just click on save comment, and of course it's going to reflect in his or her results being generated. So the same thing, similar thing for psychomotor, very user friendly. Just follow through the instruction and see the rating for psychomotors. Okay, let me just click through this one. You can see various rating. So all what you need to do is just to actually navigate through and actually select the appropriate rating based on the particular student you are actually filling it for. Then we have the attendance. Okay, attendance, this way you are going to actually impute, let's say, the number of days the student was present in school. So these are those information that is needed and very, very important whenever you want to generate a report sheet, full report sheet, right, for the student. So all what you need to do is just to import. So let me just say I want to impute 100. Okay, you can see. So but you make sure you select the class first. So let's say, okay, let me just select this one and select the class and as well the assessment title, don't forget. So and let me select a particular student. You can see immediately you see something like 100. Okay, because I've already saved this particular data before, right? So you can see that's why that 100 is popping up, right? So that means a fresh student without any form of assessment or without any form of attendance record rather. So you're going to, this place is going to be blank. So let's say for instance I want to change this particular value to 98. You can see the number of days absent is calculated automatically and you're good to go. So I'm not going to save this particular data here, right? So let's move to the next tab, which is the term settings. So this is where you actually perform some official based uh, assignments. So let's say, for instance, you can actually what impute the number of days the school is going to open. Okay, as a school owner, you can impute the number of days in which the school is going to open. Then the resumption date, you can actually fill that in here, and of course the principal name and some other details just follow. Then the motto of your school, then the address of your school. All these are actually going into what, into that particular result being generated. So these are all the details you need for you to generate result. There's also a space whereby you can actually impute your stamp, I mean signature for both the teacher and as well the principal, and of course the school stamp is as well there. So these are those vital things needed for the result generation. Okay, so all right, then for the result tab now, right? So now before I actually would diving straight to the results tab, so let me just quickly show you the interface of the student. Okay, interface of the student, then as well as that of the staff. Okay, I think let me start with that of the staff, then later we come back to result generation. So that will be the last thing I'm going to do here. So now for the staff interface, right? So you want to make sure you actually create, of course, you add staff through the admin dashboard. Then thereafter, the search staff actually fill in their authentication details and click on login. So this is how the interface look like. So most of the things we're going to be seeing here, I've already explained them under the staff dashboard. Something like what? So something like the set questions. You've seen the interface of set question, update assessment. You can see teacher comment, then psychomotor attendance, mark theory. You can see teacher can also, or the staff can as well mark their theory questions. Okay, depending on the kind of assessment given to the student. So, and as well, if it is a fresh assessment, a student, I mean, a staff can easily grade another assessment. So let's say, for instance, I want to grade an assessment for chemistry now. I just click on this particular button. Can you see now? So then you just impute the assessment details. Okay, more like the select assessment title. So I'm going to actually speak on this assessment title. It's more customizable. So when we are back to the admin interface, I'm going to show you, okay, how you can actually customize your own admin assessment title rather. So you can see automatically the subject has been picked, right? Because I told you that you, whenever you're adding your staff, okay, it is based on let's say subject. You actually allocate some subjects to them, and if these subjects are not taken by the junior classes, let's say the only subject you assign to this particular staff is only the subject taken by the senior classes, then that simply means the primary, I mean the junior classes is not going to appear. So the reason why we are having JSS1, JSS3 is simply because all the subjects allocated to this particular staff are both taken by the junior student and as well the senior student, depending on that. Okay, so let's say for instance now you're seeing chemistry here because I'm actually selecting a senior class here, but if I'm to select a junior class now, you won't see chemistry again. Why? Of course, obvious reason, because chemistry is actually not being done by the junior classes. So that's how the algorithm actually what works. Okay, so I hope this is clear enough. So then for the student dashboard, okay, so the student gets authenticated to their dashboard via their registration ID. So this is what's going to be auto-generated. Okay, it's going to be auto-generated. Let me log out of the staff dashboard. So let me go back to the admin dashboard. So let's go to the student tab. Okay, so we want to authenticate a particular student now, right? And remember, I told you that a student actually has their own customized picture, right? More like their passport or profile picture, right? So now this is the ID you actually need, registration ID. You copy it, then you head on straight to the login page for the student. Then you click on login. All right, you can see there's no any form of active examination for this particular student. So if there's any kind of active examination for this student, so you are going to actually see it clearly out here. Is that okay now? And such student can actually partake in an assessment. So this how it's actually works. This is how it actually works. So now let's just actually add a student so that you're going to actually see, but make we are going to add the students whereby of course they are having an active assessment, because currently I've showed you that the assessment I actually showed you is only for SS1 for instance. So let me just try to add a particular student without a picture. Let me see, to the same class SS1, so that I'm just going to show you how the interface actually work. So that's just it. So let's hold on while it loads. Let's hold on while it loads. Okay, let's go back. Right. So it actually logged us out because we didn't log in as an admin. So sorry about that. So now let's go to the tab now. I think this student should have been added. And if not, let's do that again. All right. So just click on add students. So let's say the student is Vic Solomon, and let's say the class is SS1. So let's say add student. You can see the student has been added now, right? So SS1, this is the student we just added now. So now let me just actually make one of these examination to be active, right? I want to make this one of these assessments rather. Okay, this assessment now for SS1, make sure you, because the student actually belong to SS1. I hope you actually understand the workflow, right? So let's just actually start this particular assessment, which is test 2 for English. So now immediately I actually go back. All I need to do is that copy the registration ID of the student in which I actually was added. So this is the last student, just to show you, of course, the interface, right? So let me actually log out. This is another student. So let's say take an assessment again. Okay, so once a student actually log in, the kind of assessment is going to be displayed, right, to the student in the student dashboard rather. So you can see this is a test 2 assessment. So that's why you are saying start test 2. If it is an examination, it's going to say okay, start exam. So that's how the system is actually what user friendly is being configured. So I just want to show you through how the template actually works and the timer actually made mention of. So after that, you can just read through the instruction and click on proceed to assessment. Then thereafter is going to give you a detailed information about the assessment, talking about the time, the duration, the type of assessment category you can see, so the total number of questions and other relevant information. Just click on proceed. So you can see this is more like a theory-based assessment, as you can see. So all what you need to do is just to actually type in your answer, then actually move to the next. You click on next. After that, type in your answer, and thereafter you actually submit. Okay, so that's exactly what student is going to actually do here. Okay, so let me just say it's just testing, for instance. Okay, so that's, let's say that's the answer, because we want to be able to submit. Then say test, another testing again, right? So you can just say okay, submit, right? You click on submit, you can see instantly the result has been submitted, and of course the examination has been submitted, right? So that's just it. Then so that's basically how you actually take assessments. Okay, so now back to the admin dashboard now. Okay, now back to the admin dashboard. I actually would run through that just to show you the student interface, how they actually take an exam. Typically that's how they are going to actually take an exam. But quickly, before I actually do that, let us actually take objective assessment as well. So let me start this objective as well, so that you're going to see how the objective interface look like exactly now. So let's try to refresh. Of course, you can see now start test 1, of course, more like the first test now, right? So but this one is going to be objective. As you can see, it's written on my screen now. Okay, this exam type, you can see objective. So all what you need to do is just to click on proceed, right? So you can see, just select a particular answer, then you go, So let's say this one is the correct answer. Then you actually click on submit. You can see instantly. So that's just it. So that's how the student interviews actually work. Okay. So, however, we don't actually need those students that actually use them as a test run, right? So let's head on straight to the student dashboard and delete this particular student. Of course, we're not going to have any result related to that particular student anymore. So that's just it. So lastly, talking about the result, okay, you can generate result based on subjects, of course, and you can generate a full report sheet. That's what we're going to actually do last. So for the result based on subject, so what you need to do is just to select a particular class you want to generate result for. So this one now is let's say it's SS1. So what I need to do is just select a particular subject. So let's say I want to select digital tech, for instance. Then you select the assessment category. Is it exam? Is it test one? Is it test two? Right? So depending on that, so let's just pick test one, or for instance, let me select test one, and of course the exam is going to actually, the assessment is going to actually get displayed here, as you can see on this particular table. So this particular test one is just objective based. As you can see, there's nothing in that of the theory column, which simply means that's to tell that this particular assessment type is just what is just objective. And of course, you obtain the total mark over 15 mark. You can see the total is over 15. You get it there, and some other calculation have been done. So that's how you can actually go about that. You can select uh, as many subjects as possible, then you can actually export it out. So for instance, let me just click on export PDF. So you're going to see the PDF being actually what's generated. Okay, so and of course you can actually do whatever you like with the PDF. Perhaps you actually want to print it out or send it to the search student. So now this is the PDF being generated for, or at least based on a particular subject. Remember, we generated for digital tech, don't forget. So you can see all the information. Look at the assessment category. Everything is actually correctly being written in. That's the test one. So that's just it. So then quickly, let's actually, which is the last part, generation of a term result, right? So we want to generate the full term result. So, and of course, as usual, we're going to be using SS1 because we are having an ongoing assessment in SS1. Of course, we should have a result for them as well, because all the students in SS1 as well are actually taking a particular assessment. So that's why I'm just using SS1 for instance. Is that okay now? So now, cool thing about this is that you can actually generate results per student, and as well you can generate a bulk result, okay, for all the students in a given class. So the first one I'm going to do is just to generate a result in a student, let's say in a particular class. So let's say SS1, right? So we are going to generate the result per student. So let's pick this first student, okay, in SS1. So Andrew Caleb. All what you just need to do is just to click on generate result. Then thereafter, just select the exam assessment title rather, okay, which is a second term. Then thereafter, just click on what generate. So and let's just hold on while the result actually what generate. So that's all what you need to do here. You just hold on, so you can see immediately the result as what has been generated. Look at, so it actually look more like a professional what, a professional report sheet. Okay, you can see the student passport is here. So in your own case, your school name is going to be here in place of the CBT Academy, right? Your school name is going to be here, then the address, the motto, and as well the student mail. Okay, then your school logo is going to be here where you see CBT, right? So it's highly customizable, just like I've mentioned before. You can see a lot of calculation being done here, right? The days school open, I think I've shown you all this during the admin dashboard interface, right? So you can see all those figures you actually enter is going to actually get displayed here. So you can see the results table as well, although we're actually using four subject for now, but in your own case, depending on the number of subjects taken by such student, you're going to see the result being here accurately, right? So you can see some other vital calculations like the position, because this particular student now actually takes second position, as you can see written on the board, and some other important words information needed in a report sheet. Everything is actually here, you can see. So you can see the psychomotor, you can see the section for the teacher's signature, in which I actually mentioned under the admin dashboard, if you still remember, that of the teacher and as well the principal. Of course, you have the section for the stamp. So this was going to actually get displayed. So, and as well, you can actually what uh download the result as well. So now let me just quickly head on straight to the bulk result generation. So because of course, let's say we're having a lot of students in a particular class, of course it's going to actually take much time for you to start generating the results of each student per class. I mean, of course it's going to take a lot of time. So this where this particular feature is very very important. So you just click on this particular bulk result PDF. So all what you need to do is just to actually select the assessment title. Okay, we have the existing assessment title here. We're having the first term, second term, third term. Okay, depending on your assessment title, right? So just select, but we have been using second term, so let me just select second term, right? So then thereafter I select the class, don't forget SS1, then you click on generate PDF. So let's see what's going to happen. You can see it's generating. All right, and of course within few seconds it's done generating the result for all the students in SS1, for instance. So now let's just, I'm going to actually open the PDF because it's instant generation of result in PDF. So I'm going to open the PDF so that you're going to actually see it. That of course, take note that we are having just 4 students in SS1. Don't forget, just for a test. Is that okay now? So let me open the PDF so that you can actually. So, all right. So here is the result, bulk results we actually generated for SS1. As you can see, the result of those 4 students are actually here, intact, everything right, and as well the various calculations, their subjects, their position. Like for instance, this particular student now actually came second, okay, out of the 4 students. Is that okay now? So everything is actually what's being accurate and working perfectly. As you can see, this student now actually came first, okay, first of 4, okay. Is that okay now? So this class position is actually there, and as well some other important calculation in which I've actually shown you right before, right? So that's just it as regarding the result generation. So I just actually hope you actually find the content worth really amazing and okay, right? So that's just it as regarding what you need to know as regarding the various interface, the admin dashboard, the staff dashboard, and the staff dashboard. All right, so let's proceed. So, all right. So this is actually what you are going to get exactly. Just everything I've actually shown to you. You're going to have an access to everything, right? The complete LandCBT software, and as well the setup guide. You understand how you can actually set up this particular LandCBT on your local server. So I'm going to actually guide you through. Of course, you know that you're going to have an access to these various dashboard I've actually mentioned, and as the interface for the objective and theory assessment. And of course, you're going to have your instant result being generated, and as well the report sheet in which I've actually shown you. All right, so you're going to be having it in your mind that, okay, how much are you actually paying for all this particular value? Now, here's the truth. If I'm to actually charge you based on the total value of this package, that means I'm going to be charging you 750,000 naira. Now, imagine a particular offline software that actually handles a result generation, report sheet generation. So, which simply means even though your school doesn't actually have a particular website hosted online whereby you can actually generate the result, this particular LandCBT is there for you to actually generate the result accurately for you compared to what other websites are actually doing. So you can see the multi-purpose future of this particular LandCBT is not just about you, the student actually taking an exam and just generate a particular result based on a particular subject taken. No, it actually gives you the interface in which you can generate the whole term result for a particular student based on the particular assessment was actually taken, just like I've shown you in this particular video. All right, so now you are actually not paying this particular amount. Of course, it is obvious, just like you can see that obviously you are paying 150,000 naira for this particular CBT software, and that is the current price. But if you are actually taking an action, if you are ready to actually get the LandCBT software now, right now, within 24 hours, then you have this particular offer of accessing it or everything I've shown to you just for 120,000 naira only. And mind you, there's nothing like recurring payment. You actually make this payment once. Okay, so that means after this particular payment, you have an access to all those features I've shown to you, and as well you have a support guide is working on how you can actually set up this particular software, of course, in the local PC, and as well how to actually connect some other what PCs to this particular local software. So you're going to actually get everything, all the total full support after this particular payment. Just like I've said, there's nothing like recurring payment. After making this 120,000 naira payment, then that means you have a full access. So thank you. I'm going to actually what see you on the inside. So that will be all for now. Thank you.